Hello, everyone. Today we got another big ranking, and this time it's going to be for TV shows. Last time was albums, and I got another one that's albums and it works. So, yeah, today we are ranking all 18 seasons of my top 3 TV shows of all time. I have every season of Game of Thrones on DVD, and almost every season of Breaking Bad on DVD. Then Money Heist is just on Netflix, so obviously I'm not showing you anything for that. So, when picking the bottom choice, it was super easy. Game of Thrones Season 8. Really, what else could it have been? There's plot holes everywhere, there's conveniences everywhere. It just feels so crammed and rushed. But the best thing going for it is that all the actors do a great job, and the visual effects and cinematography and blah blah blah, all the normal stuff that's really good in Game of Thrones is still really good. Danny normally rides the line of being unlikable and sympathizable, whatever the word is. This season, it's just, you want to kill that bitch in every single scene, and it's so painful. I could go into so many other reasons why this is last, but come on, you know exactly why it's last. There's the poster, by the way. Now, second last is also a Game of Thrones season. Wait, the bottom 3 is all Game of Thrones seasons. Okay, then. Season 7. We actually got the exact same cover. It's a pretty similar story. It just feels really crammed. There's plot holes everywhere. Here it's nowhere near as offensive. And on a first watch, I actually really enjoyed this season. Then I watched it a second time with Mum, and I was like, no, this is not a very good season. I will say, though, the opening episode is really good, and the last one is. Then everything else is just boring. Oh my god. And the romance between Danny and John is absolutely terrible. It's one of the worst things that they could have done. So, number 16 is the Game of Thrones season as well. And there's a small chunk of the Game of Thrones community who think that this is like one of the absolute best seasons of Game of Thrones. So, just hold on to yourself there. Season 2. Now, I got this cool alternate cover, and I'm pretty sure, yep, the original cover's in there. Season 2 is this low mainly because it's a really slow season. In fact, it's probably the slowest season of the whole show. Maybe season 1. Anyway, this season introduces the Tyrells, an amazing bunch of characters. And, like I said, it's just overall a pretty slow season. I will say, though, it does end, well, the second last episode, Blackwater, is one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones, easily. And it's got my favourite moment of the entire show. Yep, it's not the Red Wedding. It's when Bronn of Blackwater shoots the arrow into the water and then that explosion is just glorious. And everyone's reaction. So at number 15, I'm not showing you a DVD because we're going to be talking about Season 1 of Money Heist. Once again, this season is just kind of slow. And it's one of those shows where when you watch it, you feel like the first season doesn't quite have a distinct goal yet. It's more like, here's our show, we'll see what happens. You're straight away given a great bunch of characters. And since, of course, they don't break out of the bank until season 2, the ending of the season does feel a little bit disappointing. And, of course, we already get a robber death. Okay. Just like season 2 of Game of Thrones, many think that, oh my god, as far as Game of Thrones go, you can't do better than season 1. right from the start, this was a really solid intro. Look at these pictures too. That's so good. Oh my god. That's episode 3 and 4. So, season 1 very well shows you what season 1 is going to be about. You know, no one is safe. It's got a very brutal tone the whole time. The characters are great. The story is really complex, and you definitely won't keep up for ages. It's just overall a really solid season. And the death of Ned Stark is just absolutely horrifying. And now we get into the lowest season of Breaking Bad, of course, in my opinion. Season 2. Once again, it's just a very slow season. It kind of starts good, gets kind of Right in the middle, you get 4 Days Out, which is an amazing episode. And it's pretty good at the end. Everything in between, it's okay. You get the introduction and death of Jane. You get Walt and Jesse expanding the business a little bit. The introduction of Tuco. No way, that was season 1. Oh, and the episode Grilled, I believe it's episode 2 or 3. Amazing episode. The episode where Walt and Jesse get kidnapped and taken to Tuco's. I could go on like a 7-minute tangent about that episode alone. It's so good. It's just overall a fairly solid season. That when I rewatch, I kind of just pick out episodes. I don't necessarily just watch it the entire way through. Because, you know, after season 1, which is a bit higher on the list, it gives you 13 episodes instead of 7, like the first season was. And it doesn't feel like they quite knew how to pad out that whole time. Obviously, season 3, 4, and 5 do it excellently. Spoilers for those being really high. So, it's season 2. It's solid. Enough said. Oh, hang on a second. Now we have the only Blu-ray that I'll be showing you guys today. Game of Thrones Season 5. This is a bit of a weird one for the show, because it's the first one where where the creators of the show didn't really have a book to go off, so they kind of had to make up some things. What I will say is that the start of this season is so boring. Stupidly boring. After the hopeful end of Arya's storyline in season 4, she just gets taken to the House of Black and White, I think it's called, and just spends most of the season there. It's one of the most boring plots in all 8 seasons. And seeing her go home at the end, it was like, yes, going home from the madness that you've been experiencing for season 2 and 3. And no, just gets stuck in this place the whole time. I will say though that this is, as far as Dany's storyline goes, this season is really interesting for Dany. This season's also really interesting for Jon. And you have this boy right here, Tyrion. You kind of need to figure out what to do. At the battle at Hardhome, the second last episode, the final episode, is just so draining and depressing. Like I said about Grilled, I could just go on a big tangent about that episode. It's so good, but it's so hard to watch. So next up we have... Hey, okay. Breaking Bad Season 1. Which is in this sleeve with 2 cases. This is such a great intro to the show. Sure, it's got this weird comedy edge to it, which is... Oh, hang on a second. Which kind of disappears by about season 3. Oh, goddamn though. The actors, while amazing, aren't quite in that top form yet, and don't really get. Oh, I need more coffee. Not really in top form until like halfway through season 2. Heal. Sometimes I get scared that it's not recording. Anyway, since it's only 7 episodes, there isn't really any point in the whole season where it drags. It moves along really nicely. And it very, very well sets up what the rest of the show is going to feel like. So, we come into the newest season here. This season finished last month. Money Heist season 5. Wait, is this season 5? Oh, hang on, what? Wait. Oh, hang on a second. Breaking Bad season 1 is 11. Money Heist season 5 is number 10. And that's season 4, I think? Yeah. Anyway. Money Heist season 5. A pretty good conclusion to the show. It mainly doesn't go higher because the ending kind of disappointed me. Because at the end, they flat out surrender. And for some reason, they make a deal where the robbers get to get away completely fine, as long as the outside world knows that they won't be punished, which is really, really odd. Just like the other seasons of Money Heist, though, the tension, the acting, the action, it's all so good, and it's just got this feeling of cool. I don't know, that like basically this whole series has, and the last few episodes were really good. Did it really need to be split up into 2 volumes though, that were 2 months apart? So number 9 is season 4. Wait, 1, 5. Or is this season 2? Oh, wait, I did do this correct. So that's season 2. Season 5, which we just discussed, is here. Let's go to season 2 then. Season 2, a great continuation from season 1. The actors do a much better job. The costumes, the hair and makeup is a lot better, which is something I normally don't take note of. But it looks a lot better here. We get the first breakout of the heist. We get another robber death, and the death of Berlin is so heartbreaking, bro. Oh. Because he's all like, I know I'm stuffed, let me die. And it's like, oh. And already in this season, you get a sense that these guys are not going to get along that well over time. The friendships are more fleshed out. The relationships are more fleshed out. As soon as I watched this season, this is when I knew that I was in store for a good show. So, we already discussed 5, which leaves 4. Yeah. Why do I not remember anything about this season while I've been put on the spot here? I legitimately don't remember anything about this season. What is going on? So now we get to what, again, many would call the best season in Game of Thrones. And this time, unlike season 2 and 1, which I just find kind of slow. They're good, they're just really slow. If this is... God damn it. If this is your favourite season of Game of Thrones, sure, it's great. Season 3. Now in this one we got... I have no idea who that is for some reason. Then we got Danny and John. Ironic that those two are right next to each other given what comes in season 7. This was the first season of Game of Thrones where everything clicked. All the actors are great. The set design and the costumes and the storytelling as well. Oh my god. You start to get a better indication of what Dany's up to, what Tyrion is up to, recovering from the Blackwater Bay. I nearly said Blackwater Park for all you Opeth fans out there. I must say that this is one of the seasons where Dany's story is the least interesting. When everything else is so good, though, who cares? You got the Red Wedding, probably the most iconic part of all 8 seasons. No, it definitely is. You have Arya and the Hound stuck together and they don't want to. Their back and forth is amazing. It's season 3 of Game of Thrones. It's so good. Sansa and Tyrion's wedding. Blah, blah. The great back and forth between the season, between Tyrion and Tywin. I always get their names mixed up. Sometimes I'm literally just like Tywin and Tywin, and I'm like, that's not what it is. You get the idea though. It's so good. Next up, we have another Game of Thrones season. It's kind of weird how this list worked, because it starts off with 3 Game of Thrones seasons in a row, and then 3 Money Heist seasons in a row in the middle. You know, where we just were. I just noticed that was a pretty interesting pattern. Once again, we get to a season of Game of Thrones that many will call the best. Don't panic, it's not season 4. It's season 6. This season, basically the whole time, doesn't waste any time, and it's glorious. Straight away, you get Sansa and... what is that guy's name? I might say... Sansa and... who's that other guy who was tortured by Ramsay for like 2 seasons? Why do I not remember? In season 5, I completely forgot to mention Ramsay. Oh my god. What a great character. And in this season, he's even better. More brutal, more hateable. What else happens in the opening episode? The reunion of Brienne and Arya, if I'm not mistaken? And then, you know, they both make it back to wherever it was completely fine. You can tell there's heaps I need to remember for these episodes. You got the episode where... I've completely forgot to mention Jon dying in season 5. You got the revival of Jon in season 6, which is at number 6. That's... that's another thing I'm only just picking up on now. You get the Red Woman, whose name I can't remember right this moment. Starts with M, though. Who's a much more interesting character this season. You start finding out about her backstory. And it just makes her so much more creepy, really. And the final 2 episodes, are you kidding me? The giant battle, the revelation of Stannis' kid being killed, whose name I can't remember again, for basically no reason. And the final episode, The Winds of Winter. Oh man, it's easily my favorite episode of this whole show, and it's probably my top 5 episodes of all time across any TV show. It's so good. Every scene is filled with scenes that are like, yes, this is why I watch this show. It's often said that Game of Thrones could end at season 6 because of how awesome that finale is. Sure, that would have been a good space to leave it. Given that season 7 and 8 exist. It's fairly early in the morning over here, so, you know, that will be why I might look kind of dead. So, oh wow. This is the first Breaking Bad season I'm showing in ages. This is the first Breaking Bad season where everything clicked. And much like Game of Thrones, that happened at season 3. Once again, Walt and Jesse's empire, I guess you could say, because that's what Walt refers to it as in season 5, is getting even bigger. They got even more enemies. Skylar is becoming a bigger threat because remember in not season, in episode 1 or 2, she's literally like, "You're a drug dealer. You got to tell me what's going on." And when Walt says that is true, that opens a lot of avenues right there. And wow, again, the final 2 episodes. Oh, if you've seen this show, you know how great those final 2 episodes. 1 minute, the episode where Jesse gets beaten basically to death, and then Hank almost dies. Gus becomes a way better character. The twins are introduced to a terrifying. Oh my god. Hank and the Mexican fella, Gomez, keep on getting closer and closer to busting Walt and Jesse. Oh, it's so good. Coming in slightly above that, though, is Money Heist Season 3. Straight off the bat, I'll say that the final episode is so good. It's just like what I said with the Winds of Winter and the Reigns of Castamere. I forgot to mention that episode when I was talking about Season 3. It just makes my head spin each time I watch it. It's such a great way to leave the finale. And we get another rubber death. Who was it who died in this season? There's something that happens in season 4. Nairobi dies. Oh, that one was really hard to watch. My cat's running around. Snowy. You got to come on camera? Anyway, in part 3, this is also where the tension between all the robbers started to get really bad. And there's more relationships around here, so that's another interesting dynamic. It just works. It's such a good season. And this is such an astoundingly solid top 3. Because, Jesus, bro. Coming in at number 3, if this is your number 1, I hear you. This season is front to back brilliant. I was completely stunned at how awesome this season is on every single episode. We're talking about Game of Thrones Season 4. Literally every single episode of this show is insane. Of this season, rather, is insane. I might even just episode by episode this. 2 Swords. The calm down after the Red Wedding. The introduction of, what's that character's name? The guy who gets killed by the mountain. Oberyn Martell. Yes. Awesome character. His death scene is easily one of the most horrifying moments of the whole show. The Lion and the Rose. Joffrey's wedding and death. That episode is amazing the whole way through. And you get more development from Ramsay. Hey kitty. You gonna come on camera? Okay. You get the Tyrells being a bigger force in this show. Episode 3, Breaker of Chains. That's like the one episode of the season that kind of just goes by. Oathkeeper. Danny balances justice and mercy. That's another one that's kind of eh. First to be his name, Cersei and Tywin. That's another one that's kind of eh, actually. The middle part of this season is... It's still great. It's season 4. And what do we got here? Oh, the Mountain Viper, the final showdown. It's so good. And the speech between Jamie, yep, Jamie and Tyrion. Oh, it's so good. Basically, just like, uh, just making amends. Is that the saying to use when you like make peace with someone? Anyway, oh, Mockingbird, the great scene where Littlefinger pushes Lysa, whatever that character's name is, at that window, and Sansa getting shown like a new life for the moment. Oh, it's all so good. The Watchers on the Wall, the second big battle of this whole show, and it's glorious. Oh, the the shots in that episode, the cinematography, that's a better word to use. Absolutely stunning in that episode. Oh my god. And that episode took so long to make, and it's so worth it. The finale to this season as well. The children. Oh. Just like the Winds of Winter, it's front to back so good. This top three, they're all seasons I would give a perfect 10 out of 10. They're all so good. Oh. Where's... Oh, it must be at my other house. Because I don't have Breaking Bad Season 4 right now. Oh. Straight off of that, opening with Box Cutter, showing how ruthless Gus can be, is amazing. And you get Victor. Such an awful character, intentionally so though. You get cornered with the famous "I'm the danger" line. And in that episode is the start of Mike and Jesse doing things together, which is a really odd plot line. And it's got so much tension behind it because you have no idea what Mike is going to do, given that he is a hitman. And the middle of this season is a bit slow. And in the final 4 episodes, oh my god. I didn't even want to talk about them because I'll be here for ages. Coming in at number 1 though, this was number 1 right from the start of making this video. Well, this top 3 was absurdly easy to do. We have Breaking Bad Season 5. Both halves of it right here. I'm pretty sure one of these is borrowed from the library. I don't know. This is another one I kind of just want to break down episode by episode. Live Free or Die. The opening. It's the cool down, I guess you could say, from the death of Gus. And while Jesse are just like, guys, what do we do? That's basically the whole episode. Hazard pay? Sets up a new lab. That's where they start finding a new lab. They're kind of like, okay, I think we got a plan. 51, that's... Oh, hang on, Madrigal. Try to convince a reluctant Mike to join. That's probably the worst episode of this season. It's still good, though. Because it's Breaking Bad. 51, the episode where Skylar, like, jumps in the pool. That's pretty much all it's known for. Dead Freight. Oh my god. The train heist. And you have the B-plot of Mike sneaking around with Lydia. This season is the introduction of Lydia, an awesome character. Buyout. Mike and Jesse make a hard decision that threatens their relationship with Walt. Okay, maybe that's the worst episode of this season. Oh, Say My Name. I didn't even want to talk about that one. Gliding overall, an excellent conclusion to the first half. It just shows that the sky is the limit with Walt's business. They're raking in so much money. Oh my god. And they're just recovering from Mike's death. I forgot to mention that with Say My Name. Again, there's so much I need to remember here. Oh, Say My Name is such a good episode. And then we get to part 2 of season 5. Every episode here is amazing. All 8. Okay, let's do this episode by episode. Blood Money. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Hank finds out that Walt is Heisenberg. So Blood Money, you get, Hank and Walt duking it out. I think Skylar finds out. No, hang on, Skylar. Hey, what am I talking about? What else happens in that episode? Anyway, buried. Yep, that's the one where Walt decides to bury the money. That's about all I remember from that episode. Confessions. Oh, the fake confession tape where Walt tries to just blackmail Hank, and the talk over dinner. The scene with Saul. I forgot to mention Saul. How am I only mentioning Saul just now? Oh my god. The scene with Saul, Jesse, and Walt just all trying to make peace is heartbreaking. You get the idea. Oh, and then Jesse tries to set Walt's house on fire. Thanks. Rabid Dog basically just trying to hunt down Jesse. Too harshly. Oh. An episode that's kind of lame for about 20 minutes. It's this... What was the name of that? Associate of Saul's. Bill Burr and the other guy. LeVar? Huell. LeVar's the actor's name, I think. That is kind of like, oh, we need you to hunt down Walt. You need to stay in this house. And it's just kind of like, okay. As soon as Walt sees the message from Jesse, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Jesse and Hank team up this season because they realize that they have an enemy in common now. And they do the fake picture of the barbecue field with all the money. And then that phone call is so good, where Jesse's just screwing with Walt. Then you get to the shootout, which leads into Ozymandias. Oh. People have talked about this episode endlessly, so I won't. It's so good, though. I've watched that episode at least a dozen times. It's just... It's heartbreaking, it's tension-filled, the action is so good. The acting is incredible. Okay, Granite State. After warming down from the freight train of an episode that we just had, Walt decides to move to Alaska, I believe. It's one of the states way up north. And it's just hiding out, waiting to die. And it's so sad, man. You got Walter Jr. on the phone saying that he wants his dad to die. You have Skylar who's trying to live the life of a single mother with a son who's just doesn't want any of it. And the final episode is just front to back absolutely incredible. You see, Breaking Bad is easily my favorite show of these three. The other two kind of fight it out, which one I prefer more. At the end of the day, though, Season 5 had to be number 1. And for all that being said, oh my god. And for all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.